Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. And now, a guy who's willing to separate Pete and Austin on the island just to see how they react when they return to the final bonfire, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in, Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube, and a busy hour ahead. Yes, you heard correctly. Austen Lane and Pete Prisco with us today. OTAs coming to an end today earlier. Mandatory minicamp is next week, then the end of the offseason program. Jeff Lageman out this week. Austen Lane in. Pete Prisco of CBS Sports in as well. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Austin, how are you? What's up? You're down in South Florida.
Listen, I'm doing great. Pete, it's great to see you. First of all, let me start by saying this. You better give your PR person a much-needed higher wage gap here, because if I have to hear one more video on YouTube Shorts coming from my son's iPad because you're all over his algorithm right now, man, I may lose it. So if I have to hear you blindly rank one more quarterback group, that's going to be it for me. Literally just hanging out in the family dining room, and I hear, Jalen Hurts, he's not that. I probably put Jalen Hurts behind him. I'm like, oh, Ronan, that's Pete Prisco. Like, turn it. You know what I'm saying? So it's great to see you again, man.
Your son has great taste, by the way. I mean, my God, that kid's how old is he?
He's 10. He's 10.
He's smart, Ooh. Man. I mean, he's one up on his pop already. I mean, you kidding me? He's smart. Yeah. By the way, that video you're talking about got me in so much trouble with the Philadelphia fans. They went nuts. They just went absolutely nuts.
Well, mission accomplished, man, because it found its way to Jacksonville, Florida, my son's iPad. So appreciate you for doing that.
There you go.
That's what Pete does. He's not scared to ruffle feathers. Just calls it as he sees it.
No, you know what? In fact, as we start this program, I'm kind of sad because I'm missing the old GM. I used to ruffle his feathers all the time.
Yeah, he's gone. There's a new sheriff in town. Sheriffs, multiple in this place, Pete.
Well, the guy that used to sit in that screen over there is now, think about that.
Down the hallway.
He's the president of the team. JP, how much football did we teach that guy during the course of this
It's
this
amazing
program?
How we saw him grow over the years, Pete, on this program. I mean, he came in as a little pup, and then we raised him up, and you sent him on to the executive level. That's what you did.
He couldn't even the first year he was doing an ad. He tried to say sports coach, and he botched it about 50 times. How many names did he butcher?
Oh God!
I mean, it's an amazing thing to think that guy is now the president. Tony Baselli is now the president of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's incredible.
Yeah, executive vice president technically, but yes,
or whatever he is.
Right. Yeah, whatever.
No, he's got. You kidding me? He's already trampled over people. You know.
Watch out.
Talk about some big shoes to fill, though, guys. I'm just sitting here like, well, it's a Hall of Famer versus a guy that made Andrew Luck swear at him for like one of his very first times in his career. So I guess I'll take that. But yeah, I think Tony Baselli's got me beat in terms of the resume.
Hold on, let's hear that. What did you do to make Andrew Luck swear at you?
So it was a well-known thing that, Andrew Luck, a very wholesome and smart individual, never cussed on the football field. Well, we played Andrew Luck Thursday night prime time. I happened to be a captain for that game, and it happened to be my birthday. So a lot of incentive to try to play, outside my capabilities. Ended up getting a strip sack fumble. Jeremy Mincy, jumped on the ball and everything, and I think we were down by like 20. So the game was out of reach. But me being me, quote unquote, the bringer of pain, I had to give Andrew Luck a little extra, thanks for coming to Jacksonville, and kind of pushed his head down a little bit. So then after the game, he came up to find me and he goes, "Hey, Lane." I go, "What's up, man?" He goes, "I got to talk to you." He's like, "You are one bad bleep." I go, "Dude, I thought you didn't swear." He's like, "I'm making an exception for you." I go, "All right, man. Right on. Appreciate you."
Wow.
That's awesome. By the way, Andrew Luck's the last time the Colts won the division.
How about that?
Crazy to think about too.
And with their quarterback situation developing again today, Pete, it might be a minute. That's a problem.
Well, and every other team in the division's won it twice since they've last won it. Think about that.
That's pretty wild.
Even the Jaguars.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jaguars, too. Let's get to it. And, Pete, it's the first time we've had you on any of our programs since the 2025 NFL Draft and the move from 5 to 2 to get Travis Hunter. He's been playing both ways in practice. We've seen his ball skills on display on both sides of the football with highlights coming out of camp here. What do you make so far of Hunter? What you've seen? What do you like? What are some concerns you might have with the way they're approaching it?
Well, he's a special player. I mean, it was the right move to go get him. It was definitely the right. And everybody else look back and say, well, they gave up too much. No, they did not. And I'm not saying just because he plays both ways. If he's going to be what I think he's going to be as a wide receiver, then you made the right move. And so they went up and got him, and you add him to the mix. And all of a sudden, a team that wasn't fast a year ago is now fast. Brian Thomas can go. Travis Hunter can go. De'Ami Brown can go. Tootin can fly. All of a sudden, a slow offense, which was a plodding offense, is now got dynamic playmakers who can make plays down the field. I love him. All the little clips I've seen of him. Look, he's still learning how to play both positions. He's raw in terms of what he can do, but the athletic ability is incredible. As somebody said to me, he's Justin Jefferson. And if you compare Justin Jefferson with Brian Thomas, boy, you're going to score a lot of points.
What do you think, Austin, so far?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And this is kind of the wild thing, too, because you think of the draft capital that you used to get Travis Hunter. And anytime that you use that much draft capital, you got to think of, I remember when they got Julio Jones, that was a lot more draft capital, right? But Julio Jones had to come into Atlanta and be the guy from day one. Calvin Johnson had to go to Detroit and be the guy day one. Travis Hunter, he's got to come in here and you want to see him be the guy, but you also got Brian Thomas Jr. So to me, it almost takes a little pressure off of Travis Hunter and be like, hey, man, just play the game that you know how to play, and they're going to find you the football. Oh, and by the way, Brian Thomas Jr., you just keep doing your thing as well. So I think it's going to be a great matchup this year for the Jaguars in terms of just attacking, exploiting defenses, because like Pete just said, you have so much speed. You have a variety of guys you can throw the football now to. And obviously with that, you hope the confidence grows now for Trevor Lawrence as well.
Pete, can you imagine the pressure is going to keep building on Liam Cohen as this offseason goes, and then training camp when, hey, the defensive coach is going to be like, hey, we like this guy on our side a little bit more here, and the offensive coaches and Edgar Bennett's going to be like, hey, hold on, let's hold the phone here. He's a wide receiver. That's only going to continue to build, it feels like, Pete. So for Liam Cohen, he has to manage all those personalities in training camp and beyond.
Yeah, but I think it's really – I think he's a receiver, first of all. I think he'll play almost every snap as a wide receiver, and they'll spot him in on defense. I think that's the plan. I think that's ideally what they want to do. And you play him in the nickel some, you play him in the red zone some on defense. But as a receiver, he's going to play almost every snap. I mean, that's what he is. He's a dynamic playmaking wide receiver. And look, Liam Cohen should be sitting there drooling over what he has, because – we talked about the receivers, and De'Ami Brown, from everything I've heard, has been as good as anybody out there.
He has.
In the offseason work. Well, you also get Strange. And remember, Strange is one of those tight ends who flashed last year, and they kind of went away from him. Remember, strangely, they went away from him. It was so weird. Yep. But he's got the ability to catch the ball. They got so many different looks now, and Liam Cohen's a really good play caller. Having been over at Tampa last week, and talking to Baker about him and some of the other guys about him, they all raved about his ability to call plays and really get involved in the game. And at times, now some people around there did tell me he gets a little emotional at times on the sideline. He's got to rein that in a little bit. But I think when you look at it, I think it makes all the sense in the world that he should be excited about this group. And we said this all offseason. And I've said it many different spots I've been on our shows here at CBS. It's all on that guy right there who's on the screen right now. It's number 6, not Liam Cohen. It's on number 16. Mm-hmm. And everything is there. The table is set for you to take your game to the next level. I'm a big believer in him. I know there are a lot of people around the country who aren't. And they're all sitting there saying, play the show me game. Well, he's got the weapons. He's got a great play caller. He's got an improved offensive line. It's on him now.
Yeah, Pete, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is on Trevor Lawrence now, right? And when you talk about Trevor Lawrence, we can sit here and make up the excuses. We can say, well, Urban Meyer the first year did him 0 favors. Well, there's a lot of drop balls the past couple seasons, did him 0 favors. You got to feel now with the weapons that he has, with the play calling, and I think there's going to be a huge emphasis now on the run too as well. I mean, make no mistake about it. We want to talk about Brian Thomas Jr. We want to talk about Travis Hunter, as we should. This is going to be a running football team though as well. And you saw Baker Mayfield play the best football of his career in Tampa with Liam Cohen. Why? Because they know how to run the football. And I think you look around the league, whether it's the Baltimore Ravens, they can run the football. But look at Lamar Jackson's passing numbers. Those were great. Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, they started running the football. How did that affect Josh Allen? He won an MVP because of it, right? So I think if you can run the football, if you can establish that line of scrimmage and everything, that's only going to pay dividends for Trevor Lawrence. The biggest thing for Trevor Lawrence going forward now, though, is that in that Liam Cohen offense, he's going to have to make decisions. I always felt like with that Doug Peterson type of offense, it was more of, okay, just throw the ball here. I'm going to guide you through it. I think with Liam Cohen, it's going to be, all right, Trevor, here's plan A, plan B, plan C. You have to see it before anybody else sees it, and where are you going with it?
You know, it's interesting you said a couple of points you just made. One, in talking to Baker Mayfield, I said, you got all these weapons now. You got McMillan, you got Ibuka, you got, Otten emerged. And he said, you know what? Our offense will still go through the run game and through Mike Evans. That's their offense. And so if you look at Jacksonville, it's going to go through the run game and through those receivers down the field, the big plays. Two, you talk about, all the quarterback at the line of scrimmage. Baker Mayfield, when he was with Canales, didn't do a lot at the line of scrimmage. He was limited. They wouldn't let him do it. Well, with Liam Cohen, you have a lot of freedom at the line of scrimmage. You have to be able to get into the right play, like you were talking about. And that's where it's going to be even more so on Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, I think he's going to be good in this offense. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's had a lot of things work. You mentioned it, Austin. Okay, the Urban Meyer disaster was a disaster any way you shake it. Yeah. Then he had the injuries. And then, he's never been healthy. And he had all the drops. Well, now he has there's no more excuses provided he's on the field. So it's his time. I think he can, I thought he would have a big year a couple of years ago. It didn't work out that way. I think he can have a big year this year.
And then today is the assistant coach roundtable media day. So right before the show, the offensive coaches were in the room next door, and I had a chance to sit down with Spencer Whipple, the quarterback's coach, for a little bit. And for about the first three answers, he mentioned footwork and the changes they're trying to make and coordinating it with progressions and timing and drops and everything. And so far, so good for Lawrence. And it begins there, Pete. And there were times, right? I mean, we've seen him, Pete, where it's in Austin, where it's just like, oh, I got to get out of this pocket. Like there's no rhythm. There's nothing to it. And I think you got to start with that, Austin, is that the footwork and how it works in this offense. It's all kind of new, but so far so good, according to Whipple.
Literally, man, it is all about rhythm. I shared the locker room with a guy by the name of Blaine Gabbert, who, when we were going through OTAs in the offseason, I turned to some teammates and said, this guy has an arm like I've never seen before. And, JP, I think you were there in practice. Maybe, Pete, you were there too. Like, you saw Blaine Gabbert in practice, and you saw, like, listen, this guy, if he has everything around him right, he could be a special quarterback. Well, what happens? He gets thrown in a little too soon. He wasn't ready. He got hit a lot. And then all of a sudden, like that rhythm that you speak of, it wasn't there anymore, right? And then he almost got gun shy, and his internal clock was just all discombobulated and messed up. I think in the past a little bit with Trevor Lawrence, whether, it's exiting the pocket a little too soon or fumbling the football, like you've seen shades of that. But this is where I think that Liam Cohen offense is going to come in to be such a huge key for him, because one, if you can run the football and take some of the pressure off your shoulders and keep that defense guessing, well, now all of a sudden that's going to help your internal clock. That's going to help your rhythm even more.
Yeah, and the other thing about Trevor Lawrence, you talk about the footwork, JP, but one thing I've noticed too from some of the stuff I've looked at is his ball seems to be his release is quicker and shorter. He had it's a very long release, and you know how DBs, they eat that alive, and you got to get the ball out. And I think that's one thing. I haven't heard anybody talking about that. We hear about his feet, but I've noticed that his release, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but his release looks quicker and shorter, which I think it needed to get to. And I think they've done a great job of kind of molding him back into some of the bad habits that he had.
All right, guys, plenty ahead. We've got to get to the defense when we come back. I don't know if you remember this, Pete, but the defense was left a lot to be desired last season.
Did anybody throw any meat on the table? You guys, right? You've heard that story, haven't you?
We'll come back and get the full story. I don't think Austin has, Pete. That's ahead. Defensive changes, including, well, they maybe not eating that meat on the table. That's part of the story as they trim up on the defensive line especially. Plenty ahead on 1010XL, AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick, Austen Lane, and Pete Prisco on Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Enter the Snickers Ice Cream Chill All Summer Sweepstakes for your chance to win a summer supply of Snickers ice cream, a meet and greet with our head coach, and a VIP training camp experience during Jaguars training camp. For more information, please visit jaguars.com/sweepstakes. The Snickers Ice Cream Chill All Summer Sweepstakes will end at 11:59 on Thursday, June 26th. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited, must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotional period is June 2nd to June 26th. Total ARV of $15.20. Prize details and winner selection date specified in official rules. Sponsor Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC, 1 Everbank Stadium Drive, Jacksonville, Florida, 32202. Odds of winning depend on the total number of entries received.
Hi, my name is Charlie Jordan, and I'm the manager of social media for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So as manager of social media, we serve as a bridge between the fans and the franchise. And so my passion is rooted in being a fan, but I also get to work with the team each day. The Bright Future Scholarship was huge for me because I was able to pursue an education at the University of Florida. And because I didn't have to worry about paying for classes, I could spend my time covering the sports teams that I work around. I'm extremely grateful for the Bright Future Scholarship and the Florida Lottery specifically for allowing me to earn an education.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You know, when they presented the plan to me, I was like, okay, let's do it. If that's, you know, the best plan that you guys see fit.
Right.
And then shortly into the season, when we were in London, I went to them and I said, you know, I don't think this is necessarily working out. You know, I feel like I can have bigger impact on the team if I'm playing more inside, where I'm, you know, a better pass rusher and I'm on the field, you know, with Josh and Trayvon and the rest of the guys. And at that time, looking at the roster, it didn't happen, even though I expressed that that's something that I wanted to do and I thought that would be better for the team.
That is Eric Armstead on the Ozone podcast this past week, available in the official Jaguars podcast network, Jaguars YouTube, Jaguars.com. And Jaguars football is presented by Fresh from Florida. It's always in season. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman is out tonight. Austen Lane is in, as is CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco down in South Florida. Both of you guys are in South Florida. Fight coming up in about a month for Austen Lane. Pete Prisco gets in Twitter fights all the time. That's what happens. Yeah.
I've been nicer lately, though. I haven't gotten into as many.
What about that from Eric Armstead as we get to the defensive portion of it?
Well, I mean, the greatest mystery in the league. I mean, there were so many mysteries last year. That was one of them. Why they played him at end, and nobody ever asked him during the season, or he wouldn't say. Remember, and we just badgered that all year.
Yeah,
it was a dumb decision by a bad coaching staff, okay? Let's be real about it. But again, it goes back to what I said last segment, the meat story. And I've heard this secondhand. I haven't had it verified from any of the players, but supposedly at some point they wanted the players to get bigger. And the defensive coordinator came in and threw a bunch of hamburgers in front of them and said, you got to get bigger and stronger. And so you had Allen. Remember how big he got?
He was he said he was 285 at one point last year.
Trayvon Walker had to be 3-something plus at one point because he got bigger too. And Armstead playing end, they wanted him to play end, but he was a bigger guy. I mean, think about it. It didn't work, and they blew it. They botched the whole thing. And now Armstead's back at defensive tackle. The two guys are lighter and leaner, which is what they should be. Hamilton seems like he looks like he's healthy again, which is big for them. But the guy, and I said this on 10-10 earlier last week, the guy that needs to be the guy that changes the way they play is Mason Smith. I'm sorry, that's the one. And at the end of last year, and there was a whole other mystery about him too, remember? Why didn't he play?
Get on the field.
Right. There was talk about him being overweight. Well, nobody ever said anything about it. Why didn't he play? Then he was healthy. He was a healthy scratch. He played well down the stretch, and he's got to be a bigger part of the defense going forward.
What do you think, Austin?
When this defensive staff came in last year, I sang their praises because I listened to that first press conference where they said, we're going to put our players in position to make the plays. And I get it. That's very basic coach speak, but I bought it. But for examples, like when you have a guy in Josh Hines-Allen who had 17 and a half sacks, and then you go up to him and go like, hey, you know what? That was a pretty good year last year. Let's go and add another 20 pounds on and see what happens. Like, why? It makes zero sense. And this is coming from somebody who I went from Jacksonville. I had to gain 25 pounds in Kansas City to play a 3 technique and a 3-4 defense that I had no business playing. And I was never the same player again. So to see a guy like Josh Hines-Allen get that monumental season and go, you know what? We think you should change your body a little bit. It makes zero sense for me. And yeah, obviously the Eric Armstead thing, all you had to do is watch one YouTube highlight video of Eric Armstead in San Francisco and realize that he was better suited to play a 3 technique than he was an edge. Anybody could have told you that. But at the end of the day, when you had guys playing paper, rock, scissors to see who goes in, the game and everything, I can't say I'm surprised.
It was one of their bad decisions, and they had plenty of them, that group.
Yeah. Remember the attack hat, Pete?
What was that? I forget that.
It was a hat. He would wear a hat into the press conference the first few weeks. It said attack on it.
Yeah, I mean, look, and nobody ever got to the bottom of the Ronald Darby thing. I love that story. Ronald Darby got benched, and nobody talked to him. I mean, what? I mean, they brought him there as a free agent. He got benched. Somebody's got to go talk to him and get a story out of that.
Did he just retire like this week?
He just retired. Yeah, they drove him into retirement.
Do you guys remember the whole paper, rock, scissors story or not? Because we had Josh Hines-Allen tell us that one.
No, what was that one, Austin?
For reps.
That was when
right?
Yeah, so basically, when it was like 3rd and long or whatever, and they're subbing because, it was like a hockey subbing, like guys just chopping over the boards and going in. So when they would rotate guys, Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker would play paper, rock, scissors to see who would go in.
That's unbelievable.
I've never heard that before.
It was so bad.
I mean, I've watched 10-year-old playing football and like it's cutthroat where it's like, hey, you're not playing right now. You stay in there. Like I can't fathom it.
The hockey rotation, I had so much fun with that. Over the boards, everybody in. 4th line, you're up. So bad.
So bad. A lot of you're speaking of losing weight. Devin Lloyd looks like a totally different guy running around out there, Pete.
Well, you know what he's playing for?
Contract
it's a money year.
Contract.
I mean, he didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so he's playing for a contract, whether it's in Jacksonville or somewhere else. And look, his head spun a bunch early in his career. Remember, he missed the beginning of that first year, and it kind of set him back. He was off the field. And then he's a good run player, gets lost in coverage. I wonder if he's losing weight will help him because it's a big year. It's a big year for them. I mean, think about it. 47 new guys on this team?
It's a lot.
Yeah. They just took every guy that they ever drafted or signed and got rid of every one of them.
And they just added a couple this week as well, a new receiver, new linebacker, and defensive end and Smoot, who's back.
They brought Smoot back. Right. I mean, Agba and Gardeck. Gardeck, if he's healthy, he's a good football player. He's coming off an ACL. all of a sudden the rotation that they had none of last year. Remember, they didn't have anybody. They could have called you, Austin. You would have been getting minutes.
Yeah, they had Travis Gibson, and then they ended up trading him, which I thought was a giant shocker. And then obviously it was the whole Eric Armstead thing playing on the edge. But and make no mistake about it, right? Like you have your bookends. You have Trayvon Walker and you have Josh Hines-Allen. But any good defense that you watch, they can't do it 100% of the time. Like, yes, you do need to rotate in. Now, it can't be like a hockey rotation every 4 or 5 plays, but you do have to spell those guys sometimes. And now we're not asking for, all pros to come spell them, but you're asking for dependable guys that can still cause some chaos and get to the quarterback. And I think those guys that they brought in right now have the capabilities to do that.
Or somebody that you can come in on third down and kick Walker inside and rush inside, because I think he's good rushing inside. So you're right. It was a disaster last year, and they've improved at a lot of spots, particularly on that defense. I think getting those pass rushers in the rotation will help a great deal.
They've added 10 million defensive backs on this team this offseason too, Pete. And we know that was an issue last year or so on the back end of this defense. I mean, Tyson Campbell's had some injury issues over the last couple of years, hamstring issues. They brought in Jordan Lewis at cornerback, or nickel type idea there. They've brought in all these names in this offseason, and we'll see how this shakes out. In the back end of this defense, who's going to play where and when?
Well, the guy that I've heard good things about is Monteric Brown. He's had a great offseason. And remember, Monteric Brown can't press and play man. That's not who he is. And they asked him to do that a bunch, and he looked awful when he did it. But this group will play more zone. And I think this group, he fits better with what they want to do. So, you know what? I've heard good things about the way he's played. I think Jarrian Jones gives him some depth there. Jordan Lewis is a pro. He can do a lot of different things. And Tyson Campbell, look, kick his contract to the side. He probably got a little overpaid right out of the gate, but that was the MO for that last regime. But he's still a good corner. So they'll be better across the board there. Safeties, I think those guys they were major disappointments last year. Remember, they started Savage at the slot. What the hell were they doing? I said that in the training camp. Remember, JP? He's not a slot player. I know he did it in Green Bay. That's not who he is. And so I think the safeties will be better. I love the Ransom kid. That kid has talent. The kid they drafted was it Tulane?
Oh, Ransaw. Yeah.
Ransaw, not Ransom. Ransaw.
Yeah.
He's got talent. And, they played him as a box corner safety in college. I think he could be a guy that could end up getting in the lineup at some point.
Not scared of contact, Austin, for sure. Right?
No.
Not scared of contact at all, and he's got the speed to back it up. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little surprised when they drafted him when they did, because if you're talking about safeties, I forget the guy's name now. Was it Xavier Watts, the guy from Notre Dame?
Yeah,
he was like the two-time
Watts.
consensus All-American. Yeah, I thought they were going to lean more a little towards him just based off production and his resume and everything. They go with Ransaw, who I feel like could be a little more of a project, but could be that boomer bust guy, right? The guy ran like a 4.3 something, playing safety, and he's not afraid to hit people.
But you know what, though? Austin,
if he's coming downhill, man, he'll be all right.
He played corner over there, but they played him like as a nickel corner, like in the box, and he was a good tackler, and he can run. I think they might hit on that one in the long run. That might end up being a really good pick for them. I liked him.
Pete, how long do we have you today? Do you got to run? What do you got?
Yeah, because I got Rodgers stuff going on.
Oh, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, you might have heard, has signed with the Steelers.
Oh, my God. A long national nightmare is over. Are you kidding me?
It's only just begun, Pete.
Bring out the YouTube videos, Pete. Can't wait to see the new ones.
By the way, we didn't touch on the offensive line. That group will be better just by the guys they signed. Look, Mitch Morse retired. He didn't play very well last year. Let's be real. The right guard was broken down. They'll be better at those two spots. Now, they don't have all pros at those two spots, but they'll be better. I think the right tackle, they're going to put a foot in his behind, and he's going to play better. The left tackle, I think that's a competition. I know people say it's not. I hear it is. I think it's going to be between Fred Johnson and Walker Little. And remember, this regime didn't give that guy that contract. That was not who gave Walker Little the deal. And so they're not bound to him. And then Cleveland, I guess right now they're running at first team, Cleveland and Walker Little. But I think that's going to be training camp. Those two spots are going to be decided.
And by the way, Sean Sarrett, offensive line coach, was in that room just a little earlier on the record, said that Anton Harrison's been playing a little left as well in some off-season work. So keep that in mind. You never know. He was a left tackle in college.
I mean, and they want to be bigger. That's the they want to be. That's why I think Cleveland's working at left guard, but he's more fits what the last regime wanted at left guard. I'm not sure he fits into what this, but he is running with the first team right now.
That's why they're
keep an eye on Milam. I like Milam. He was a tackle at West Virginia. He's a tough guy, and he's a left guard now. He's gonna be a good player.
That's why they're all listed as offensive linemen now on the roster. There's no tackles or guards or centers or nothing. It's all OL, Pete.
Well, think about it. Hainsey's played guard and center.
Yeah.
Macari's played across the board. He's played every position in the league. I've got Harrison working at left tackle. Yeah, there's some versatility there. They'll put the biggest, best 5 guys out there and go run the football.
Love that. Pete, thanks for taking some time today. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Busy schedule.
Good seeing you guys, and I will see you next week.
Here at minicamp, Pete Prisco will be in attendance.
Don't knock somebody's head off, Austin, all right?
Sounds good, man. I would say, let's grab some dinner sometimes, but I think you're kind of outside my tax bracket, so I'm just going to see you back in Jacksonville sometime, Pete.
By the way, Austin, knock somebody's head off. Just make sure it's not mine.
You got it, man. Sounds good.
Anybody
guys.
Pete Prisco with us back in a moment. Austen Lane still with us. We'll return with plenty more ahead at the end of organized team activities on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Enter the Snickers Ice Cream Chill All Summer Sweepstakes for your chance to win a summer supply of Snickers ice cream, a meet and greet with our head coach, and a VIP training camp experience during Jaguars training camp. For more information, please visit jaguars.com/sweepstakes. The Snickers Ice Cream Chill All Summer Sweepstakes will end at 11:59 on Thursday, June 26th. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited, must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotional period is June 2nd to June 26th. Total ARV of $15.20. Prize details and winner selection date specified in official rules. Sponsor Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC, 1 Everbank Stadium Drive, Jacksonville, Florida, 32202. Odds of winning depend on the total number of entries received.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, that's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious Fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop, or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He been asking a lot of questions, but I mean that's just him trying to be the best that he can be. Just like talking like through routes, talking through little things, plays, and why we run these certain plays versus these certain looks. So just like little things like that. I mean, he wants to be the best. We both want to be the best. So we just come out and compete each and every day. And whatever he needs help with, I'm gladly helping.
Thomas Jr., Jaguars wide receiver after practice today, discussing Travis Hunter. Dynamic duo now at wide receiver for the Jags. Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. Thanks to Pete Prisco for joining us. And, hey, attention, music fans, the 2025 season at Daly's Place is upon us. Old Dominion coming up on June 6th, Vampire Weekend June 12th, Glass Animals June 17th. Full schedule at dailysplace.com for tickets and show information. You can get a Daly's Place Blue membership and have access to a lot of different amenities as well. Austen Lane with us today. Jeff Lageman out. Our thanks to Pete Prisco, CBS Sports senior writer. Pete's a unique cat.
Sure.
Put it that way.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I love Pete, man. When I've been to a couple Super Bowls and worked a couple of those, and I always see him there, man. And dude can command a room, man. I got a lot of respect for that guy. And he's a lot better dude than I am because, yeah, some of the takes that he has sometimes, I feel like, he gets a little hate for it. I'm probably going to hold off on the restraining order now with being on my son's iPad way too much in that algorithm. I'll probably hold off because I felt like the conversation went great today, JP, but it was great to see him again.
One of his worst all-time takes is that every football game should be played in a dome.
I can't co-sign on that one, man. Come on now.
And then we had this conversation on one of our shows last year, right? And then he goes on one of your algorithm videos on CBS Sports and has a whole thing about it. Like every game, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. And once again, I've been meaning to ask him. I don't know what's up with the whole Jalen Hurts thing. Like maybe you're trying to, pander to the Eagles fan base, but I'm starting to see like a trend here with Jalen Hurts not really being the guy, I guess, even though he won a Super Bowl. Like even to the point where my son was like, he doesn't like Jalen Hurts, does he? I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he won a Super Bowl, so he's decent, I guess. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with Jalen Hurts. They're winning.
Nothing wrong with Jalen Hurts.
Just fine. They're just fine. Jaguars Happy Hour, 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. We just heard from Brian Thomas Jr. and, coming off a fantastic rookie season. But a lot of that rookie season was from Mac Jones throwing to him at the tail end, right? So this offseason, another big time for him to get some chemistry going with Trevor Lawrence and, of course, all the new faces around him at wide receiver. But this is building up to be a really good setup for him and for those receivers around him because, there's going to be some focus on Brian Thomas Jr., but Travis Hunter is going to get a lot of the headlines. So Brian might get some opportunities.
Yeah, I think Brian will get some opportunities, JP. And listen, it's crazy when we talk about personal growth on this Jaguars football team. I don't think anybody's grown more from their first year into this up-and-coming year than Brian Thomas Jr. Because you look at what he was able to do last year, right? Like he gets drafted the first round, and we're still kind of waiting to see what he can do. And, gets off to a little bit of a slow start and everything, and all of a sudden what happens? Well, Christian Kirk goes down, but Evan Ingram goes down, and you really have no one else left to throw the football to, and that's when Brian Thomas Jr. steps up. Now, granted, it was with Mac Jones more than Trevor Lawrence, but nevertheless, like he became the go-to guy, and he was getting 10, 11 targets a game, it seems like. Yeah. So when you get put through that fire like that, and you succeed, and you accumulate all the hype, deservingly so, well, then going into your next year, you have like this built-in confidence now, right? Where it's like you were the guy the first year when we weren't really expecting that much from you. You were the guy, and now guess what? You can be the guy again in a new offense that's probably only going to help you out. The head coach loves you. Oh, and by the way, we have a guy in Travis Hunter now that can take some of the attention off you and get you the ball some more.
Remember the game where he had like 2 targets? When was that? Brian Thomas?
I remember because I'm in fantasy football, and
it up right now.
I was feeling a certain type of way about that game. Yes, I do remember.
There was he had 3 targets, 2 catches against Minnesota.
That's right.
For 12 yards. 3 targets to that guy? And there were a bunch of other games with only 4. So,
But then, JP, you started seeing towards the end of the year, they started doing like more of those, what do you want to call them, like bubble screens and things like that just getting him the ball in open space. Because even though he's a taller wide receiver, he's so quick and he's so agile in those spaces, and he's got great vision where if you give him 2 or 3 yards with nobody around him, he can turn up and take it the whole distance. So once they started incorporating more of those plays as well and just getting him the football, you saw it pay dividends.
Austen Lane with us today on Jaguars Happy Hour. We mentioned this a little bit with Pete, but a handful of new Jaguars this past week have been signed, including a guy who's not so new. Dwan Smoot, defensive end, is back in the building, a year with Buffalo last season. Of course, a couple of years ago had the Achilles injury in New York against the Jets, and has lived a lot of life as an adult here in Jacksonville. Makes his home here, family's here, and he is back in a Jaguar uniform, and I love it. I think it's a really good place for him, certainly personally, to be. And let's see how much it's obviously coming back from an Achilles. I've never had one injury. I'm not an athlete like him anyway, so like who knows? It's just yes, technology's changed in rehab and surgeries with Achilles. It's still an Achilles injury, right? 2 years ago.
No, it's still an Achilles injury. And JP, I'm just telling you, man, do some calf raises or something, man. Just even though you're not running a lot, like let's make sure your Achilles are good to go for the season, man. We don't need you on the sideline. So let's keep on doing some calf raisers and things like that. No, like I get it. The advances of modern medicine have never been better. But I'm reminded of a guy like Cam Akers a couple years ago who was like supposed to be the next big thing with Los Angeles Rams. He tears his Achilles. They brag about how he's going to come back in whatever it was, 6 or 7 months. And granted, he's still in the league. He's still doing his thing, but he's not the Cam Akers that you saw before that injury. And you saw a guy in Smoot who was playing fantastic in Jacksonville. I feel like was one of like the kind of the unsung locker room leaders of that group. He tears his Achilles and is kind of like forgotten about a little bit. But I think it's a testament to his work ethic and how he goes about his business, because he comes off that injury. He goes to Buffalo. And I mean, I saw a couple Buffalo games last year, man. He was still popping up, right? So I still think he has a little left in the tank. And there's always something to say when you go back to kind of, where it all started. That gives you a little incentive as well.
Another name signed this week, linebacker Dennis Gardeck. He spent his entire career with the Arizona Cardinals, and he's from the original USF, the University of Sioux Falls, Austin. So that's a positive. And now, all right, and then Liam Cohen today after practice was asked about him and said, hey, this is a guy that was on the board of game wreckers every week when they had to line up against him when he was coaching with the LA Rams. They were in the division, of course. His name was always on a board in game prep. Special teams wizard, he said. So that's a positive in that regard. And then what can he bring on defense? We'll find out. He's coming off an ACL injury. I think it was in October. And that's one. We're talking about Achilles, but same idea, right? The timetable for ACL recovery has reduced over the years.
No, without a doubt. I mean, once again, the advances in modern medicine have been amazing, especially when I think it comes to knee injuries and the ACL. And I think just being from, Sioux Falls or whatever, man, that because you hear Sioux Falls, you think of hockey, right? So I feel like this guy's going to be hockey tough, JP, and he should be ready to go by the start of the season. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Liam Cohen alluded to this as well. I think the dude had like 3 sacks in one game for the Arizona Cardinals as well, which, is quite the feat in itself.
Trenton Irwin, wide receiver, another signing this week for the Jaguars, and we'll see what he brings to the table. Was with the Cincinnati Bengals and played certain roles there. Did not have massive numbers in Cincinnati. A lot of other guys did in that offense. This is how it works, but we'll see what he has to offer here as well. And at height and weight of 6'2", 204, let's see him come out here and learn the offense and have a chance in camp.
Yeah, this is going to be a guy where I'm sure you bring in some more competition, man. Let's see what he can do. You're not mad about it, right? Because I think there's a lot of positions in terms of trying to run out that roster that are going to be open. So, yeah, let's bring this dude in. Let's see what he can do, and let's push some of the other players. And, competition brings the best of everybody.
All right, we'll come back in a moment, and we're going to break out our baseball scouting acumen. Because Liam Cohen threw out the first pitch at the Jumbo Shrimp game last night. We will break it down when we come back. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Enter the Snickers Ice Cream Chill All Summer Sweepstakes for your chance to win a summer supply of Snickers ice cream, a meet and greet with our head coach, and a VIP training camp experience during Jaguars training camp. For more information, please visit Jaguars.com/sweepstakes. The Snickers Ice Cream Chill All Summer Sweepstakes will end at 11:59 on Thursday, June 26th. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited, must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotional period is June 2nd to June 26th. Total ARV of $15.20. Prize details and winner selection dates specified in official rules. Sponsor Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC, 1 Everbank Stadium Drive, Jacksonville, Florida, 32202. Odds of winning depend on the total number of entries received.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Hi, my name is Charlie Jordan, and I'm the manager of social media for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So as manager of social media, we serve as a bridge between the fans and the franchise. And so my passion is rooted in being a fan, but I also get to work with the team each day. The Bright Future Scholarship was huge for me because I was able to pursue an education at the University of Florida. And because I didn't have to worry about paying for classes, I could spend my time covering the sports teams that I work around. I'm extremely grateful for the Bright Future Scholarship and the Florida Lottery specifically for allowing me to earn an education.
He's actually done a really nice job in the red zone, really looking back to the first time that we did it, last Friday when we did it. I think he made some quick decisions. You know, everything is sped up in the red area when the timing, the rhythm, the space, it's all tighter, it's all sped up. I thought he's done a nice job with his footwork in the red zone, understanding that concept.
Head coach Liam Cohen today, or earlier this week rather, talking about Trevor Lawrence in the red zone. Welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Austen Lane. Jeff Lageman out this week. Our thanks to Pete Prisco, CBS Sports senior writer, joining us. I'm at the Hyundai Studios, the Miller Electric Center. Austin down in South Florida, preparing for a fight in a little over a month. We'll get to that coming up. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Speaking of Liam Cohen, Austin, yesterday afternoon, he went across the street and marched up that mound and threw the ceremonial first pitch for the AAA Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. And that looks like a strike to me, Austin.
Confident, straight heat, didn't wave off any of the signals, just stared down the pipe and delivered. I'm going to give that like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think that was great.
Fastball might be a little too strong. He called it a changeup today. And he said he had some elbow issues from his baseball playing days as a youngster, so that still remain. Whatever.
Listen, like, as far as the national media is concerned, this dude needed to throw a strike, right? Because if you'd have threw like a 50 Cent type of style ball where it hits in the dirt and bounces like 25 feet past the catcher, that would have been the lead story of ESPN today. So I'm glad that he threw a strike and everything, and I'm glad we can move on with our lives. And yeah, it was a great throw.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of bad ones over the years. Certainly, even from Jaguar head coaches. I mean, I think it's probably the best of new We've had a lot of new Jaguar head coaches around here, and most of them go across the street and throw a first pitch. He's the best. He was the best, I think.
Now, JP, let's be honest, man. And assume that your Achilles are good to go. If you were asked to throw the first pitch, are we getting a strike here? What are we doing?
I'm not going to leave it short. Let's put it that way. I'm going. It's getting there somewhere over there. Sure. My command is not quite what it once was. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what it is. So there you go. Hey, we got mandatory minicamp next week. Aaron Rodgers just signed with the Steelers. Pete said the long national nightmare is over. My point was like, oh, no. It is only just beginning, especially to places like Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's so wild we talk about Aaron Rodgers as being someone that, grew up in Wisconsin, that followed him very closely. It's wild how he was so beloved for such a long time in that community. And then, towards the end, it got a little stale. And then he goes, he leaves and goes to New York and everything. And now and once again, it's with all due respect, but I feel like he's with one of the biggest villains, it seems like, or just one of the biggest polarizing figures now in the NFL. And he always wasn't like that. So I don't know if it's more of like the whole celebrity thing. I don't know if it's the ayahuasca thing, if it's political, whatever the case may be. But I still remember when Aaron Rodgers was like, the dude next door that your mom loved. And now it's like, get this guy off my television.
Everybody felt so bad for him on draft night. Remember, he slid all the way down. He was waiting in the green room. The camera's in his face. Oh, this poor guy from Cal can't catch a break.
That is a good point, man. And it's crazy too. And I try to tell all my friends back in Green Bay because you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers and then to Jordan Love, and I just told them like, hey, it's not how it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be a couple years where the quarterback's not going to play up to par, and you got to figure it out, and you have to go through the dark days. Like, don't get comfortable with Jordan Love now. Like, he's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have a couple years where it's like, okay, maybe we have to draft somebody else.
Indy had that run back to back with Peyton and your guy Andrew Luck, and they've paid for it since then with a lot of changes since Andrew decided to hang it up. But yeah, it doesn't happen for every team like that, certainly. Mandatory minicamp next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The Wednesday practice open to the public. Go to Jaguars.com, and you can register to come see practice on Wednesday morning. I think a little after 9 o'clock is when the team will start their stretch. So a nice morning practice before the big heat gets here. Hopefully beat some rain in the afternoon. Animals were lining up 2 by 2 here today, Austin. That's how much it was raining this afternoon. What else do you want to see in the final 3 days, mandatory minicamp? I mean, what do you want to get out of it as a player, as a coach, as a fan? Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, obviously those are all different answers. I think from the coach, I just want to make sure, and this is more, let's talk about the offensive side of the ball quick. I just got to make sure, like, listen, these guys aren't going to know the playbook front to back during this time, right? But I need to see a sense of urgency. I need guys to be lined up properly and at least show me that, hey, we're pretty in what we can do going forward. Like that's the most important part for me, because by the time you break and then it's time for, the real training camp, you want to go in knowing like, all right, these guys know kind of the ins and outs a little bit. And now it's all just, just the X's and O's part. So that's from that side. On the defensive side of the ball, I think it's a little more open just because you still got to figure out what you got, right? We saw a lot of guys last year, maybe whether it was Eric Armstead playing out of position, whether it was some of the younger guys who didn't really play that much or for whatever reason didn't find the field. So I think you're still trying to navigate that situation of who's going to be the starters, who's going to get the depth, who's going to be maybe on the outside looking in. So if I'm, Coach Campanelli, that's what I'm looking for now is, all right, let's evaluate these players the last couple of days, and by the time training camp starts, it's not going to be written in stone in terms of a depth chart, but I'm going to at least have a feel for who I feel comfortable with going forward.
It's coming up next week, mandatory mini camp, and it'll be then they're out of here. Then the tail lights of the cars leaving the parking lot.
School's out.
Pretty good sight to see sometimes. Everybody needs some time off, and players and coaches will be away for a number of weeks. The rookies will come back earlier before training camp, and then it's game on towards the end of July and into August. Certainly, we're close. You're in training mode right now down in South Florida. So take us through what's going on. July 12th is the fight in Nashville.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if we could even announce that, JP, because it's not official yet.
Whoops-a-daisy.
No, it's all good. Like, hey, I didn't say it. JP said it, right? But I may be fighting in July, and Cam Ward may be in attendance of where I'm fighting. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
That's all I can legally say right now.
Fair. My bad. I said it.
No, dude, you're all good, man. Trust me. There's so many like MMA websites that have already leaked it out, but like the UFC being the UFC, it's like we got to make sure that he passes all his physicals and all his blood work. And spoiler alert, they look good. So the fight should be on July 12th.
Love that.
Yeah.
So you're down in South Florida. I mean, how many people do you train with? Like, what's your group down there?
Yeah, so I'm at American Top Team, which is one of the best MMA gyms in the entire world. On any given day, I would say probably close to 80 to 90, maybe even 100 fighters will come through here and get training in. When we talk about my weight division, the heavyweight division, it's usually like the 185ers, the 205ers, and the heavyweights that we all work together. So there's probably about maybe like 15 to 20 of us that work together. And then like as far as heavyweights are concerned, there's about 8 or 9 of us. So I believe I'm the only American in the group, which is always an interesting dynamic.
Where's everybody from?
I'm kind of like the whole, what do you call it? Like a black sheep of the group, we'll call it. So I'm kind of the black sheep of American Top Team here at the heavyweight division, but everyone's embraced me with open arms, and we have fun, we laugh. I assume that we're all laughing together and they're not making fun of me behind my back, when they're speaking Portuguese, but who knows? But no, it's been great work, man. And it's not a knock on Jacksonville. There's a lot of great training in Jacksonville as well, but to find guys my size and with my skill range, I had to go to different places, right? And thankfully, it's about a 4-hour drive down here. I'm right in Pete Prisco's backyard, even though I feel like I can't afford his backyard. But yeah, so I'm right down here, man, and everything's going great so far. Yeah,
your Portuguese lacking a little bit. A lot of Brazilians with you, right?
Yeah. It's funny because they're trying to teach me some things, man. But like, I don't have the mental capacity to do sports shows, to train for a fight, and then try to learn Portuguese. Like, maybe I can get like a Rosetta Stone or something, but like. Portuguese is like the last thing on my mind right now, but I think I know a couple words, but I'll probably butcher them.
Yeah, so. You got a lot of other things on your mind, and you should.
Yeah.
Focus in for sure. Austin, great stuff. Always a pleasure to have you with us. It's been a fun off season. We've had you on a bunch here over the last few weeks, man.
Yeah, man, it's been an awesome off season. Thanks for the hospitality. Thanks for taking part-time custody, I guess would be of me, man. It felt like a new home, and I kind of left the nest today, right? I'm kind of on my own now, and I'm coming to you via Zoom and everything. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to see you guys maybe during the season as well.
Now, are you still doing with the other show, while you're down there?
I thought it was in the contract where we had at least mentioned it 3 times.
I gotta get it. We got a minute and a half left. I gotta get it in 3 times.
Yes. To answer your question, I am still doing the Brent and Austin show. The Brent and Austin show is going great, and I couldn't be happier doing the Brent and Austin show. That was 3 times.
Oh, okay. Well, you are happier doing this show, right? I mean,
hey, man. Once again, I say it all the time, JP. It's called freelancing, right? And that's the word of the day for all you kids at home. The word is freelancing, and I'm taking full advantage of it, and I'm having a blast here as well.
I love it. Austin, we'll talk to you very soon. Best of luck to you down in South Florida and the rest of this offseason, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Great talking to you, JP. Stay casual. We'll see you down the road.
Austen Lane with us. Learning Portuguese in South Florida with a busy few weeks ahead with a possible some kind of fight at some point in mid-July. Keep your ears open for that one. Our thanks to Pete Prisco, CBS Sports senior writer, catching up with us also in South Florida today. He'll be here next week. So if you're coming out to camp on Wednesday, you can heckle him in person right here at the Miller Electric Center. Our thanks, of course, to Austen Lane, Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, David Cho, our entire crew, and thanks to you for listening and watching. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.